It's Tuesday, July 19th, and this is now on HNN.
Saw the videos. It's out there, and now we all know the truth.
An outraged community fills the room at a Uvalde school district meeting, demanding officials take responsibility for failures in the police response to the school shooting.
Opening statements begin in the trial against former Trump advisor Steve Bannon. I'm Skylar Henry on Capitol Hill, detailing the contempt of Congress court case and new information from the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol.
An update on when the Board of Water Supply hopes to finish repairs on a broken 30-inch water main near Kahana and reopen Kamehameha Highway. These stories, plus tickets for Hamilton, go on sale this week. Details just ahead on This Is Now.
Aloha, and thank you for being with us for this edition of This Is Now. Casey and Ashley here with you. Got a lot to get to today, starting, though, with, Ash, some national news and a big trial starting today.
That's right. Prosecutors and defense attorneys made brief opening statements today in the contempt of Congress trial of former Trump advisor Steve Bannon. Skylar Henry has more details from Capitol Hill.
Former Trump campaign head and strategist Steve Bannon chuckled as he entered a D.C. federal courthouse for day 2 of his contempt of Congress trial.
You feeling good today?
I'm feeling great. Bannon was indicted after refusing to cooperate with a subpoena from the House January 6th committee. Both sides finalized a jury of 12 people and 2 alternates before opening statements started Tuesday afternoon. But attorneys spent the first half of the day arguing over whether letters sent between the committee and Bannon are admissible as evidence. Members of the House January 6th committee say they still haven't reached a decision on whether to subpoena former Vice President Mike Pence as they continue to collect evidence and prepare for more public hearings. Committee investigators had expected the U.S. Secret Service to possibly hand over alleged deleted text messages sent around the same time of the riot. But CBS News has learned the agency has turned over no new communications. The National Archives has now called on them to look into the missing text messages and to submit a report in 30 days. Another committee hearing Thursday will focus on the former president's actions as rioters violently stormed the Capitol.
What we will lay out on Thursday is what was happening during those 187 minutes in the White House. At any point, he could have walked to the press room a couple feet away and called off the rioters.
CBS News has learned former Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Matthews and former National Security Council member Matthew Pottinger will testify Thursday about what the former president was doing while the Capitol was under attack. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
As abortion rights advocates and Democratic lawmakers continue to protest the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, the House is voting on a bill to protect marriage equality. Out of fear, the conservative court could revisit the other landmark decisions. Supporters of the Respect for Marriage Act note Justice Clarence Thomas's separate opinion suggested the court should reconsider past precedent, including same-sex marriage and access to contraception.
Simply says each state will recognize the other state's marriages and not deny a person the right to marry based on race, gender, sexual orientation.
This bill is simply the latest installment of the Democrats' campaign to delegitimize and attempt to intimidate the United States Supreme Court.
Republicans say the majority opinion did not go that far.
And here at home, that water main break near Kahana is causing a lot of headaches for commuters on the windward side. The Board of Water Supply is working around the clock, but it's going to take some time to repair that 30-inch main. Officials say the water system from Waimanalo to Kahana lost about 60% of the water supply from this disruption. BWS is calling for urgent water conservation, asking customers only to use water for cooking and personal hygiene. The complete closure of Kamehameha Highway is also causing problems for those who have medical appointments.
It's frustrating, but it's a fact of life. You know, especially for us who like living out here on the North Shore. A lot of us would love to do dialysis close to home, you know, instead of having to travel the roads.
Officials say they hope to finish up the repair work by this weekend.
HPD has opened an attempted murder investigation after a man was shot in the McCully area. Here's what we know. It happened just before 10:30 last night in the area of Alawai Community Park. Investigators say a male suspect fired multiple times at a group of people. One man, believed to be in his 20s, was hit in the lower body. He was taken to the hospital in serious condition. His wound is not thought to be life-threatening. HPD says they are looking for 2 suspects, both male. No further information about them was released.
The Army is investigating after reports of a political campaign event on military property. A spokesperson for the U.S. Army Garrison Hawaii says on June 30th there was a, quote, potentially unauthorized political event at the beach house by 604 at the Pililau Army Recreation Center. While they did not disclose who was involved, public records show that 3 Leeward Oahu candidates held events there that night. District 21 incumbent State Senator Maile Shimabukuro, District 44 incumbent State Rep Cedric Gates, and District 44 challenger Darius Kila. Per the Department of Defense, political events and fundraisers are banned at military installation. We've reached out to all 3 candidates for comment but have not heard back.
Meanwhile, State Representative Matt Lopresti's attorney entered a not guilty plea for him in court. Lopresti is charged with driving under the influence on June 16th in Eva Beach. He refused a field sobriety test but later agreed to a blood draw. Lopresti is due back in court on September 2nd.
Former Hawaii County housing specialist Alan Scott Rudo has pleaded guilty in a corruption scheme. Rudo was convicted of conspiracy to commit honest services mail fraud. That's for accepting $2 million in kickbacks to sell land and affordable housing credits to his accused co-conspirators. This happened over 7 years when he was responsible for reviewing and recommending which developers got credits. Other employees noticed irregularities and reported it to federal authorities.
We're really working to make sure that our local families can raise their kids here and their kids can raise their kids here. And what happens with something like this, it may diminish the amount of affordable housing units in favor of a market unit.
Well, he profited by taking his knowledge of what affordable housing credits are and realizing there's a demand from legitimate housing developers that they would pay for it.
Rudo faces a maximum of 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Restitution is to be determined and sold land is to be forfeited back to the county. His 3 co-conspirators have not been identified.
Now to Uvalde, Texas, and the fiery response to a new report that highlights the failures in the police response to the shooting that killed 19 children and 2 teachers. Now, people filled the room at a school district meeting last night, demanding police explain those mistakes and take responsibility. Lilia Luciano has more from Uvalde.
You saw the videos. It's out there, and now we all know the truth.
That truth, spelled out in excruciating detail in a damning report by state lawmakers, brought an outraged community to Monday's Uvalde School District meeting.
What are you going to do to make sure I don't have to wait 77 minutes bleeding out on my classroom floor just like my little sister did?
Raw grief, fear, and skepticism, including among Uvalde's youngest, like Maylee Taylor.
I don't want to go to your guys' school if they don't have protection.
The superintendent outlined changes the district is making to protect students, from tightening school access points and adding more security cameras to hiring additional police officers. But many said the precautions are too little too late.
You hired trash. That's not right. I lost a loved one right here.
The state's investigation found that school administrators did not adequately prepare for the risk of an armed intruder, pointing to faulty locks and relaxed security policies that gave the attacker unimpeded access to enter the classrooms.
You're the superintendent. You're top dog, correct?
Yes.
So you should know what's going on in your schools?
Correct.
Why don't you?
The report also concluded that the gunman likely murdered most of his victims before any responders set foot in the building, and that others may have survived if police hadn't assembled in a hallway waiting to act for an additional 73 minutes.
I feel like most of these meetings are pointless.
This was the first school board meeting for Jose Flores Sr. and Cynthia Herrera since their 10-year-old Jose Flores was killed. 2 days after the shooting, we spoke with his stepsister, 9-year-old survivor Andrea Herrera. The parents say Andrea's not returning to school until they see significant change.
I'm scared that it just might happen again.
And is it hard having to see all these officers around?
Well, I don't even focus on that. Everybody who was recorded in that video and ran the other way, they all need to be fired. There's no point of having them there.
Superintendent Hal Harrell stood by the move to put School Police Chief Pete Arredondo on administrative leave. He said the state's investigation will inform their final decision. He did not say when that will happen. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, Uvalde, Texas.
The achievement gap in American classrooms has widened during the pandemic. NWEA, an education nonprofit, found a larger spread in test scores and achievement levels in students now than compared to 2019. Reading levels were 4 to 8% wider, while math scores were close to 10%. The study found achievement was down for all student groups in the spring of this year, but students from low-income or historically marginalized areas were impacted more significantly. Data from nearly 4 million elementary and middle school students were used in the study.
Happening today, the state will roll out funds for the Summer Pandemic Electronic Benefit Transfer Program, or PEBT. It's a food assistance program for school-aged children on a free or reduced-priced school meal program, or younger children receiving SNAP benefits. $228 of benefits will be issued today, with another payment coming next month. There's no need to apply, as funds are automatically dispersed on existing PEBT or COCUA EBT cards. More information is available on the State Department of Human Services website. The governor has signed off on a bill to recognize La Ho'i Ea, or Sovereignty Restoration Day, on July 31st. July 31st, 1843 is when Kamehameha III reclaimed his power as the sovereign leader of Hawaii after a British ambassador and Navy captain unilaterally took control of the islands. Hawaiian activists have been celebrating the day since the 1980s.
This bill also at the same time honors the work from previous leaders in our Hawaiian community who have fought long and hard, who have sacrificed and invested in the public celebration of Kala Ho'i Ea without it being officially recognized. So today is a great victory for them and for the legacy that we continue to hold today.
The state will mark the day with a celebration at Thomas Square near the King's statue at 11 a.m.
The YMCA is hiring. They need about 125 people to help run the A+ after-school programs. Casey was out at the Nu'uanu location earlier today and found this report.
Aloha from the Nu'uanu YMCA. A busy day here and a busy season that the YMCA is gearing up for as many kids start to head back to school. We're talking about the A+ after-school program. Lisa Ontai is with us, and that is a program that so many parents and families really rely on, especially as we start seeing kids go back to school.
Absolutely. I mean, if you don't have your kids in a safe program after school, it's really hard to go to work. So you really got to be there for families, and you need to support their families and also our economy as well. So we have 59 sites with the YMCA of Honolulu, one of the largest after-school A+ providers, and we're looking for 125 staff members. Be sure that we can take all the kids and operate and get back up to full capacity. So we're doing everything we can. We're offering a $900 job bonus. The community can help. We're giving out $250 in Y credit to anyone that's going to refer someone that will hire for an A+ position. Don't need any experience. We provide all the paid training. You can stay healthy with us because you get a free Y membership as well. We have parents that also work with us because we also give you 50% off programs. So that's camps and everything if you work for the Y.
And I want to talk to Sarah Hardy, who is also with us, a youth programs team leader. So you are here for the summer programs. You'll be going back to school. But I want to ask you just kind of what that job is like, what it's like working with the kids, and what kind of person does it take?
The job is very rewarding. It can come with challenges sometimes, but at the end of the day, the kids are our future, and it's amazing to work with them. They're very forthcoming. They love to tell you stories, everything like that. It takes a very strong person to work with kids because kids are our future, so yeah.
Yeah, but they are also kids, and but a lot of fun. And Lisa, okay, really quickly before you go, it's almost out of time. What is the situation happening tomorrow? There's kind of a hiring. You can get hired on the spot, or at least get an interview tomorrow, right?
Yes, we're doing instant interview and hiring nights at our new one in Leeward Y from 4 to 7 p.m. And if you can't make it, just go online and apply. We can arrange for an interview in person or by Zoom, whatever is convenient. But the hiring process is super, super easy.
Very good. And you can find all those details if you missed any of that online at our website at HawaiiNewsNow.com. Reporting at the new 1OY, I'm Casey Lund. For now, we'll send things back into the studio.
I was definitely an A-plus kid, and very important for working families. You know,
Yeah.
they watch over us after school, so
Definitely.
yeah, help them out if you can. All right, here is a live look outside. Beautiful day on this Tuesday as we look towards Aloha Tower. Let's see what's in your weekday forecast with Guy Hagi.
How's it on this Tuesday? A little damp to start the day, right? Especially for those Wynwood and Mauka neighborhoods. Drier by the middle part of the day, if not sooner than that. And those winds will run breezy at 15 to 25 miles an hour. High temperatures running into the upper 80s. Surface still elevated for South Shores. High surf advisory will be posted this afternoon as that swell starts to drop. And then smaller waves are expected by tomorrow. And the east shore still big, still choppy with that trade wind swell. So the winds today, 15 to 25, slowly easing up and holding firm going into the weekend. And again, look for a slight increase in those showers starting tomorrow.
Excessive heat warnings and alerts are in place across much of the country. We're covering all angles of this, but let's first start with Chris Van Cleve, who's in Dallas, where the temperature there is 110 degrees. That's a new record.
An intense heat-fueled wildfire burned a number of homes as temperatures reached 111 degrees west of Dallas Monday, forcing mandatory evacuations near Possum Kingdom Lake.
We have a pretty significant drought all across north and central Texas. This drought caused us to go into summer much earlier than we normally see.
And it's not just Texas. Nearly 40 million people in parts of California, Arizona, and the Central Plains are facing dangerous temperatures that just won't quit.
Is this an example of climate change impacting the weather pattern?
We're certainly seeing more extreme weather due to climate change. We're also seeing a repeat of patterns like La Nina.
The National Weather Service says La Nina is like a vicious cycle, driving warmer and drier conditions north, which creates a drought. That, in turn, prompts more hot temperatures, getting the weather pattern stuck in a heat dome.
Hopefully it cools off soon. I'm tired of it. I don't like when it's too hot like this.
ERCOT, the operator of the Texas power grid, continues pleading with customers to reduce electricity, hoping to avoid rolling blackouts this month. Official numbers are still coming in, but demand for electricity over the last 3 months is on track to set dozens of records.
And he is currently on a call.
Paramedics in Fort Worth say they are currently treating more than double the number of patients suffering heat-related illnesses compared to last year.
What happened to you?
I got dizzy and fell down.
Do you think the heat played into you getting dizzy? It's pretty hot out.
Yeah, I'm 65 years old.
Excessive heat is dangerous and can quickly turn deadly, particularly when we're talking about temperatures around 109, 110 like Dallas is expecting. The National Weather Service is urging people to stay hydrated and limit their time in the heat. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Dallas.
Britain broke its record for the highest temperature ever recorded today in a heat wave that has seized large parts of Europe. And the national weather forecaster predicted it would get hotter still in a country ill-prepared for such extremes. The UK Met Office registered a provisional reading of 104.4 Fahrenheit at Heathrow Airport, breaking the record set just an hour earlier. Then another 104.5 degrees was registered at Coningsby in eastern England. By later afternoon, 29 places in the UK had broken the record. Before Tuesday, the highest temperature recorded in Britain was 101 degrees Fahrenheit, a record set in 2019. The nation watched the mercury rise with a combination of horror and fascination, with several hours of intense sunlight ahead. The record could go even higher. The sweltering weather has disrupted travel, healthcare, and schools in a country that is not used to these kind of hot temperatures. So grateful for where we live always.
Absolutely. Have the ocean nearby to cool off too. Well, we knew Hamilton, one of Broadway's most popular musicals, is coming to Hawaii, and you can get your tickets this week. Let's check it out from the feeds.
and the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man? Alexander Hamilton.
Well, Hamilton is set to make its Hawaii debut at the Blaisdell Concert Hall. Sales begin at 10 a.m. this Thursday on Ticketmaster.com. The show opens on December 7th for an 8-week run. I'm excited.
Very cool. I still yet have not seen Hamilton. I got to see a lot of good Broadway shows when I was in Spokane. They had a good off-Broadway program, but I have yet to see Hamilton. Really excited about that. Well, there is somebody that's setting out to eat nothing but fast food for 30 full straight days. Check it out.
Bell.
I am setting out to eat 30 days straight of nothing but Taco Bell in an attempt to see if I can actually become healthier while doing it. I'll do 3 meals a day, so a total of 90 meals, and I am going to abide by the rule that during the month I have to eat every single item on the menu at least once. My hypothesis is that healthy fast food can actually help you become healthier.
Well, that gentleman from Virginia is going to be visiting the doctor to try and track this experiment of his. He wants to use the project to help start a conversation about having a healthy relationship with our food rather than just focus on numbers, weights, calories in and calories out. He put a Kickstarter campaign together, which I will not be donating to.
And apparently he's going to make a documentary about it, too. So
good for him.
Good luck with that. A first for the U.S. Navy. This is really cool. Lieutenant Amanda Lee of Minnesota will be the first female demonstration pilot for the Blue Angels. Now, hundreds of women have served with the Blue Angels, but Lee is the first to be part of the fighter jet demonstration team. She will undergo an intensive 5-month training program.
Very, very, very cool. Of course, air show coming back to Hawaii here in just a bit. Well, what started as an animal rescue has grown into a full-time farm, and the owner helps pay the bills by renting his cows for cuddles. Let's check this story out in today's Good News Now.
James and Orion Higgins never imagined his world would revolve around cows, not even in his wildest dreams.
I was really good in school. I loved playing video games. I wanted to maybe be a programmer or do something in finance, like investment banking and business marketing. That's what I was actually majoring in.
Higgins was born on Oahu and raised on Maui. Then he settled on the Big Island, and the cows came home, so to speak.
I had been learning about how our soil is being depleted and also how Hawaii is so dependent on foreign inputs. And so I was like, wow, I really want to get involved in agriculture, organic, sustainable agriculture.
In 2019, Higgins rescued a few cows destined for slaughter. A crowdfunding campaign helped him go all in. He bought an entire herd, and that led to this, cow cuddling therapy at his farm called the Krishna Cow Sanctuary.
But I always tell people I'm like the Tom Sawyer of cows.
Customers come from far and wide for snuggling sessions with Higgins' band of bovines. Why, you ask?
The best experience to just lay on a cow. And their heart rate is slower than ours and their temperature is higher. So it's naturally extremely just calming, soothing, relaxing.
Bookings fill up fast. Individuals, families, and groups descend on his farm to cuddle with his animals. Even the standoffish get into it.
I intentionally try to win over the people who didn't want to come. And almost every single time they're laying with the cows, getting hugs by the cows, saying, this is so cool, I learned so much.
That's because Higgins teaches his customers about cows. It's part of the whole package.
Their relationships to humans, their relationships to the ecosystem, how they're healing the soil here.
A 90-minute session runs about $75. His bookings come through Airbnb, and it's keeping his cow sanctuary going, enabling him to rescue more cows. He says his animals love it.
Whenever people show up, the cows are like, oh yeah, it's time.
Higgins plans to care for cows the rest of his life. And when he gets stressed and needs a hug, he's got a pasture full of them.
Oh.
I'm Jim Mendoza for Hawaii News Now.
Thanks, Jim, and thanks for being with us. Jonathan's back tomorrow.
That's right. Welcome back, Jonathan.